Welcome to the Success Blueprint. I'm Jason Grider. We're here with Morgan Peterson and Jamie Baker. We're excited to talk to Jamie today a little bit about what's made her successful.
Well, thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah, we're excited for you to be here.
Excited to be here.
So, I guess to start out, tell us just a quick background of just quick high-level overview of your real estate career.
Highlight overview. So I actually got started in real estate before I actually got started in real estate. About 15 years ago, my husband and I kept our first home as a rental property. I managed that property, and then we saw the benefits of, investing in real estate and kept getting more investment properties. And at that time, I was very heavily looking at properties and kind of learning the ins and outs. And it was just a natural next step to get my real estate license and go that direction. So
cool. So during that time frame, what other jobs did you have before actually doing real estate?
Well, for 15 years, I was a stay-at-home mom, raising two boys, and that was kind of my thing. I did the managing at that time. But before the babies were born, I managed a speech clinic for pediatric speech. And then before that, I worked for a local car dealership, and I managed their new vehicle inventory.
Okay. So I had a little bit different experience.
Yeah, I was all over the board.
No real sales experience, though.
No, the funny thing is I hated sales.
Really?
And that's kind of my thing now is when people tell me like, oh, you're in sales, I'm like, ugh. I actually don't like sales. Like it's not my gig. I'm not here to sell you something. I'm here to help you through the process. Like, please don't tell me I'm in sales. I don't want to sell you anything. I just want to help you.
Awesome.
When you were talking about your rental, like why did you keep it? Like a lot of people being in real estate, I mean, that's not their first thought. And there's a lot of just misconceptions of why they wouldn't want to keep it. So usually everybody gets rid of.
And that was our plan was to get rid of it. We actually had it for sale in 2008, right as the market was crashing. Like we put it right on the market, right as it just dove. Because our timing was perfect, obviously. Always. So we had it on the market for probably 6 months, and we had a friend who lived near us who was heavily invested in real estate, and he was always trying to get us to do something like that and telling us how great it was, and he was very successful. But we were young kids, and we had two babies, essentially. Our youngest was a newborn. Right. And my husband had started a business, and he'd only been doing his business for about 3 years, so it was pretty new, too. So it was a risk that we were not sure we wanted to take. But the buying process, having a real estate market that was kind of in the toilet, we knew that we could get our next house for a steal, and we wanted to do that. So we talked about it, and we discussed this with somebody that actually had investment experience, right. And kind of went the way that he advised, and it worked out for us, and it was scary. And obviously anytime you try something new, there's risk involved. But that's why we kept it is, we knew that there was that opportunity there. We were able to get into our next property quite inexpensively for the time. So we just kind of took a swing and it worked out great for us.
Gotcha.
Awesome. So that kind of led naturally with the market, right? I mean, you were down, you bought it a little bit higher, market dropped a little bit. So it's like, okay, we're going to sell this and really not make a ton of equity on it just because of timing.
Yeah, and we actually weren't in a bad spot. So we had lived there for 8 years.
Okay.
So, and we were smart. Yeah. And we waited to have kids. Like we wanted to have a plan. My husband is very type A. He's plan A, plan B, plan C kind of guy. I just ride his coattails but so we had the equity in it that we were going to be okay. But taking the bloodbath of what it was worth the year before to what it was worth now that it was still on the market, we just couldn't quite wrap our head around taking that kind of a loss.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Awesome. So you had these other jobs, you're a stay-at-home mom. So what was your thought process and goals, I guess, when you first thought, I'm going to get my real estate license and try this? Like what was kind of going through your head or your discussions with Nick?
Where did it come from?
Just the opportunity arose. I was actually had gone back to college. I was going to school in business management and marketing, and part of one of my final classes was an entrepreneurship class where I had to do an internship. And I ended up doing an internship with the marketing department of a local real estate team in this area. And I was helping doing all their marketing and talking to them. And I already knew about, the markets in real estate, and then marketing on top of that I was learning. So it kind of was a natural flow for me. And they were just like, hey, you should get licensed. You should do this. You should do this. And I thought about it I really just wanted to do it part-time. Like it wasn't something that I was like, okay, this is going to be my career. I was like, yeah, it makes sense to me. We're already buying, we're already selling, we're doing all this. So why wouldn't I just jump into it? You don't know what you don't know. Like I didn't know that real estate's not really something that is a part-time thing. Like you really kind of need to be into it just to keep your finger on the market. Like if you're kind of half in, half out, you're not quite sure what's going on. True. And I'm competitive, like not with anybody else, but very much with myself. Okay. So once I got into it, I don't
know if I believe that. You're a little competitive with everybody.
Okay, I'm a little competitive with other people.
That's good.
But not in a mean way. Like I don't need to take you down. I just need to be better than you.
That's awesome.
But once I got into it and I realized like the potential that was there and that I could do it, and I needed to prove to myself that I could be incredibly successful at it, it kind of became its own animal.
Okay. So then kind of started getting into it, thought, well, maybe do this part-time.
Yeah.
Realized that it's not. So then was this a conversation with your family? Like, hey, I'm going to be gone a lot? Or it just kind of started happening?
I think at first, my kids were a little bit older. I think my oldest was 14. And my youngest was 11. So, still young. They still needed me for certain things, but obviously they can take care of a lot of the stuff themselves. I think it was a little more apprehension for my husband. He didn't want me gone every single night, all weekend long. Like, obviously that wasn't what he signed up for. But he just decided that he was going to support me no matter what I wanted to do. I had supported him through starting his own business and all of that. And he was gone a lot. And he was like, yep, I'm behind you 100% of the way. Whatever you want to do, I'll support you as long as it's what you want to do and it's making you happy.
Cool.
So it just kind of kept evolving in that sense.
And if it can make you happy and you can have an income from it, it's probably a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if I was spending a ton of time every single night, every single weekend, working 70, 80 hours, and I was like, well, here's my $5 paycheck, I don't think he would have been as hyped about it as.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So in that first, I'm not sure how long you were on, but I didn't know you. We did a transaction together.
We did.
Well, tried.
Yes.
And
you were my first termination, and it scared the crap out of me to call you. And you were so polite and kind. And I have to thank you for that, because that was the last thing I wanted to do was call you and be like, hey, we have to terminate. So
I remember you saying that you were afraid to call me, and I thought, what did I do? Maybe you're afraid to call me.
I just didn't know you. Now I call you anytime and be like, dude, we're done. But but at that time, it felt like I was letting somebody down, and I didn't want to feel that way.
Cool. So I guess through this process, you were with this other team, learning the business, realizing that it's full time, and then what was it that made you want to look maybe outside of that team?
Just the support. The team was great. Like they had a really good educational program. I learned a lot on that team, and I don't regret starting there, because I did learn a lot of what to do, what not to do, what I liked, what I didn't like. Okay. And it took about a year to really come into my own in real estate and kind of see how things worked, how other people worked. And after about a year, I realized that the fit just wasn't there for me. I still was a mom, and it was still my number one priority. Even today, like my boys are a little bit older, but when it comes down to being the mom, that comes first. Yeah. And it just wasn't a priority on this team. It was team first, and then everything else kind of fell into place behind that. And I couldn't live that life. Okay. So I did start looking outside of that and tried to find something that valued me as a person more than as a paycheck.
Awesome. So then you started looking. So how did you and Morgan, did you just call him out of the blue, or why did you call him, or how did that happen? I don't know that story, I guess.
Do you remember this?
I do. I'll let you tell it though.
Okay, so Morgan actually posted something on Facebook, just saying that you guys were looking for some more buyer's agents, just kind of outlining what you guys were looking for in a new agent, what you guys offered, and it was very vague. And I had talked to other teams and interviewed other places, and nothing quite felt right to me. Not that they felt wrong, but it just wasn't quite what I was looking for. So I just called Morgan up. I didn't know him from Joe, and just called him and left him a message and said, hey, this is who I am. This is where I'm working, and this is what I'm looking for. And he called me back, and we talked for a quick moment and just made a plan to meet at the office and have a quick interview, and the rest is history.
Wow. Good job.
So when she came in, it's always interesting when you talk to different people, because you never know really how things are going to go, right? So you have people who will come in and sell you on that they are going to be the best and that they're going to do this and this and this. And then you have people who come in who are a little more real, and sometimes it's more, I guess it would be unflattering. You know, you question more of the person, like, well, are they, what is it about them? And Jamie was one of those that when we just talked, and she was just casual, and it was an awesome conversation. And I was like, well, maybe, I don't know how much she wants to, dive into this. And we talked about goals, and goals were like, kind of like, we just talked about them. It wasn't like, these are my goals and I'm going to, go through anything to get them. And it's kind of funny when there's different agents that will sell you that they'll do anything to do it, and then they won't even skin the surface. And then there's those who are super driven, and they just say, I'm driven and this is what I want, and I want better for this and this and this. And then they come in and they do everything that they said that they would do.
Yeah. I felt
Awesome.
like our conversation was less of an interview, and it was more of just a chat. Like we just were old friends getting to know each other.
That's
when
awesome.
One of the questions, and we can dive into it, more later, but did you, when you were working on the other team and you come into real estate, did you ever think of the possibilities that you would do as much or as well as what you've done?
No. I remember when I left that team and I was moving over here, and I was packing up my my office. And on a piece of paper, on the very first day I started there, I had written 5 goals that I wanted to achieve in real estate. And I had forgotten about this piece of paper, and it was just kind of shoved somewhere. And I pulled it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have actually reached every single one of these goals. And they weren't like, one of them was pretty big, but the rest of them were realistic, helpful to my family. I didn't shoot the moon. I wasn't, gonna change the world, but just things that were important to me. And I was really surprised that I had forgotten about it, but I'd also reached those goals.
Right.
But I was very realistic. I had a price that I wanted, or a number that I wanted to make that I knew would be helpful, that was going to justify me being away from home. And if I couldn't reach that number, it wasn't worth it to me. And I reached that there, and I was very happy. And I thought, well, if I can continue doing this, then I'm very content. And then the move over here, I saw that number double. It just exploded. And that's how I knew it was the right fit. Like, I had a team behind me that believed in me, that didn't question me, that let me do my thing, but was always behind me all the way.
Right.
So Morgan mentioned something, and there's obviously something in you that just drives you. Where does that come from, or have you always had that? Where does that come from?
I think I have always kind of had that. Like, I was raised on a farm, and when you're a farm kid, you work, and your pay is nothing a lot of the time. Like, you live here and you eat here.
You get lunch.
Yeah. So congratulations, you have a job. So the work doesn't bother me. I don't mind that. It's just how it is. I've always had a job. When I was old enough to get a job, I had a job. I was just always driven to be my best. I don't really care what anybody else is doing for the most part. But I have things that I need to accomplish, and it's up to me to accomplish those. I can't lean on somebody else. So just put your head down and get it done. No more excuses. Like I hate excuses. It drives me nuts.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So since you were a kid, you just always had that pretty much then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have my lazy days. I am easily distracted, as you guys know. I can talk your ear off if you let me. But when the work needs to get done, I'll get it done.
Cool. So your jump over to our team, and which we're grateful you did.
Well, thank you.
And so then you start working. As you mentioned, you exploded. You did really well with our team. So I guess what would you say to somebody that is looking for a team, or what would you say to look for? Because obviously we're not going to be a fit for everyone.
Absolutely. Like,
But
every
what
team is
advice
going to be
would you
different.
give someone that's maybe out there looking?
I would say write down the things that are important to you. Write down your goals and see what they are, and then find a team that will help you reach those specific goals. Everybody's goals are going to be different, and there's going to be some teams that will help you reach those. If you are more worried about your numbers, find a team that is so stressed on those numbers that they will fire you if you don't reach them. Like, find that. That wasn't me. I don't care about how many I sell. I know how much I need to make. And once I hit that goal, I'll just keep going. That's just not who I am. I don't keep track of, I've sold this many. I don't care. I will just keep helping people until there's nobody left to help.
Awesome.
It doesn't motivate me.
Yeah. Okay. So knowing yourself, knowing what you need.
Yeah.
And looking to see if somebody can fill that void, essentially.
Absolutely. And, you're going to go into interviews with teams, and every single team that I interviewed with, they were the best team. That's what you always hear. Oh, we're the best because X, Y, Z, or we're the best. And it's great. They're all the best. Like, everybody's great.
Did you say we're the best?
He said,
No.
He said, Jason's the best.
He said, we're okay.
We're all right. We serve tacos. It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so everybody's the best. Everybody's going to give you their spiel. Everybody wants you to work on their team, and that's great. And I would say that every single team has an aspect about them that is the best. So they're not lying. Mm-hmm. Whether that best aspect is a benefit to you or not, that's up to you. So
that makes sense.
Read through the, for lack of a better word, crap. Like, they're, as much as you're selling yourself to them, they're selling them to you. Right. So, it's a beneficial relationship both ways. So interview the team that you're wanting to join. Don't just let them interview you.
What questions would you say somebody should ask the team?
The first one that I would ask them is what their expectations of you are. Getting onto a team where the expectations are high that you can't reach is going to be soul crushing. And if their expectations are through the roof and just unfeasible, you are not going to be happy there. You're always going to feel like you're failing.
Sure.
And then everybody's first question is, do you provide leads? And I feel like, provide your own leads. Like, do your own work. Like, it's a benefit if you are on a team that provides great leads. And pretty much all teams are going to provide leads. Right. What you do with those leads is up to you. And you can be mad that, you're not converting a lead. But if your team is handing them to you, that's on you.
Right.
So everybody's gonna provide a lead in some way or another. But just find out what other things they provide besides leads, because that's just a thing. But
you can buy your own.
Yeah, buy your own.
Right?
Do your own thing. Like, leads are out there. But there's so many other things that may be more important to you than a lead that will make you more successful.
So when we chatted and then you joined, what did you feel like the first 3 to 6 months look like? Like, what did you feel? What did you notice? What did you like? I mean, you can even say what you didn't like. I don't care. But what did you go through that sort of thing? Because there's a lot of people. I feel like I talked to somebody yesterday, and I asked them, why don't you change? And they're like, well, they feel like the move to change is just more effort than just staying where it's at, even though it's not the best environment, or it's like they can't see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of an interesting conversation with that person.
I think we get complacent in being comfortable. And we'll complain about the things that we don't like, but we won't change them because we're comfortable and we know it. And we're like, change is hard and change is scary. And that's fine. Like everybody doesn't, I mean, I hate change. But sometimes the scarier thing is to stay in the place that you're at and just be content, you know, and just be stagnant just because it's okay and it's comfortable. But honestly, the move was quite easy. It wasn't hard at all. It's just moving your license over. And obviously there's different things, different ways you guys work than the team I was on before. So I had to learn those. But as long as you have people that will walk you through it, after your first or second transaction, you kind of get it. It's, you know, we're not reinventing the wheel here. It's real estate. Real estate is pretty steady about the way things are handled. And once you've gone through it, then you know. So it was a pretty quick transition for me to understand how you guys worked versus how they worked. It wasn't scary. I could go to our TC Brooke and ask her a million questions, and she was more than happy to answer how she did it and what she needed. And I wasn't scared to ask her after the first one. The first one, I was a little scared of her, but that's Brooke for you. But after that, I realized that she really is just a pussycat and nothing to be scared of. But I always felt comfortable like walking into Jason's office and saying, hey, I have a question. His door was always open to me. And that was one of those things that I wasn't quite used to. At the previous team, the door was closed quite frequently, and you just kind of have to figure it out. So I did enjoy the fact that any door was open. One specific thing I do remember that was kind of a mind blow for me is the first week. Morgan, you probably remember this. The first week I was there, it was the end of my very first week, and you sent me a text and asked me, how was your week? And I was conditioned that numbers matter. Like, that was your question, how was my week? So I sent you my stats.
How many calls?
How many
contacts?
Yeah.
Like the whole schedule.
Detail
of
it
what
all
you
out.
did
Yeah.
all week.
That's awesome.
And you were like, cool story, bro. But how was your week? And I did not know how to answer you. Like, it was a foreign question to me. And I was like, I literally had to call a friend and was like, the craziest thing happened over here. Like, this dude asked me how I was. And they were like, wait, what? And he just genuinely wanted to know how I was doing and how I was feeling and how my week went. And he did not care about my numbers. He just wanted to see how I was falling into place. And it was... like, it sounds stupid now, but it was so foreign. I went home and my husband was like, what did he want to know? And I was like, I don't know. Like, my feelings,
Still
don't know.
not sure. Still not sure.
And I just know that it's always a big change, and it's a big change when it involves finances and family, and all of that is always scary, right? And so if you're going down or if things aren't what people thought or people second guess their decision, I just never want anybody to think that. So I remember asking you that, like, what's your thoughts? Like, are you still okay? Are you going to show up Monday? Are you going to, and,
That's funny.
Are you second guessing? Are you like having marital problems because you joined our team? Like what was your, and so, yeah, I do remember that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I still, like, it does sound stupid, but I was still like, I don't know what you're asking me here.
I wish I could have seen Morgan's face when he just sent him back stats.
I
and he's
literally did. It was like this long list of everything I had done. He was like, cool story, bro.
like, that's awesome. Cool. So obviously doing really well. What has it done? I mean, obviously you are not one to brag or that, but this isn't. Just what has this done for you and your family?
So the main thing it's done, and my number one goal, and this was the thing that I had written down, was my husband had started a business, right before we had our first child. Like, I was very much pregnant. And it was a scary thing, obviously. And he had worked that business for 15 years. And after 15 years, he was very much burnout. He was unhappy in his professional life.
Yeah.
And I could feel it. And it does take a toll. Like, he would come home and he'd be grumpy, and he hated that. He didn't want to come home and be a downer.
Yeah.
And so he would try to put on the happy face, like, everything's fine. I love my job. Yay. I get to go do this again tomorrow.
And what was he doing then?
He owned a diesel mechanic shop. So he's a diesel tech.
So it was hard work too.
It was hard work on his body. He was working 60 to 70 hours a week.
Wow.
We have 2 boys. He grew up on a farm. He loved the fact that he could go to work with his dad all the time. And that was a big, sad regret that he had, that wasn't something that he could share with our boys and take them to work with him.
Right.
And he just felt like his entire life was working. And we kind of felt that too. Like, I was able to take our kids to all their activities and watch all their games and do all their things. And, he'd show up when he could. He would, take a long lunch and do what he could. But at the end of the day, he was our provider. He had to be the one there.
Yeah.
So my goal was to afford him the opportunity to find something that he was really passionate about and that he really wanted to do. Whether he took that and ran with it or not was fine, but I wanted the option to be there. So he was as content in life as I was. I loved being a stay-home mom. I was very happy doing that. And after about a year, we did have that where he could afford to look outward and kind of feel what he wanted to do. And then when I moved over the team and I was making quite a bit more money, and I was making more money than he was making, he really took advantage of that and was like, I really feel comfortable now pursuing other things, because he's very traditional. He's very, I provide for my family. I do these things. I am the man. I need to make sure that everything's okay. And
that's hard to let go.
It really was hard for him to let go, but very exciting too. Like, I have a picture of him on the last day he went to work at the shop.
Yeah.
And like, he did the 2 thumbs up and the big old smile, and it was very exciting. And I was
cool.
I was happy for him, and I was wildly proud of myself. Like, it was that first time, like, I did this. Like, look at me, I'm the man of the house kind of thing. Like, it was very exciting.
That's so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And so now I guess, where are you at with all that? Is he working, finding it? Kind of where's all that landing right now?
So he started a construction company, Sage Construction and Concrete.
There you go.
And he took a year and he built our home, which was amazing. He was able to do it all by hand and build us a ton of equity into our home. And then he started the concrete side of it in the hopes that our boys would want to do that with him and take it over. And both of our boys work with him on the concrete side of it.
Cool.
I would love to see my oldest take it over. He's learning how to do bids and how to call vendors and do all that kind of stuff. So I enjoy seeing the 3 of them work together and do that. The boys will step in and help us with, construction stuff outside of the concrete thing. But it was twofold, where he got to do something that he really, really, truly enjoys doing. He loves building. He loves doing all that. He loves the challenge. But that dream of having our boys with him all the time was kind of realized through it as well. And so now he's teaching them how to run a business on top of just working with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And he didn't just build a house. I mean, he built what most people would consider a dream house, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. He did a good job.
It's actually incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I always think, like, when I was up there, I think, man, I can build a birdhouse. I know. And it is awesome. Like, it's a beautiful home.
He did a beautiful job, and he's very type A, so you can believe that there's, right angles in there perfectly. Like, he's very much that guy. He just didn't throw, it up and call it good. So
would you say, besides like your family and your amazing marriage, would you say that is probably one of the things that you're most proud about, is something that you've built, that you've able to get an amazing home, amazing income, you know what I mean? Like, your work-life balance is finally starting to level out a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, everything, a beautiful home and a good income and all that is just noise. I mean, and I'm not going to lie, it's nice to have. Like, I love our home. I feel very comfortable with our income, like, very happy with that. But it is just background noise. The most important thing are the 3 other people that live in my home. And without that, everything else just doesn't really matter. I do feel very blessed that I am in a career that allows me to have a little more flexibility. If they have something going on, I can schedule around that. But yeah, my family and my marriage, I take incredibly seriously. You can say whatever you want about me, and I'm cool with that. Like, cool, whatever. You say something about my kids or my marriage, I will burn your house down. Like, don't mess with that.
She's not lying.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, you should be very proud. And I mean, it's awesome seeing agents come through and being able to hit their goals of whatever it may be. And I mean, like it's awesome. And it's just, I mean, you definitely did it through the hard work that you've done.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we could lay everything out, but there's agents that have had the same opportunities and you know, that they don't even hit the target, let alone the bullseye. So you should feel, extremely proud, and we're proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
What is something that, like somebody who's learning from you, or somebody on our team, or somebody who's watching, what would you say the hardest thing is that you've like had to learn in real estate?
I think the hardest thing, and it's more of a pride thing, and I think everybody has this, is that it truly is up to you. Like, you can join any team, and, there's some amazing teams out there, and every single amazing team has had people that can't quite make it happen. And that's fine. Like, real estate is hard, and it's not for everybody, and not everybody has it like this certain drive. Like, your drive may be something else. It's not saying that you're lazy or anything like that, but it really is up to you. Yeah. They can hand you all the leads in the world. They can hold your hand. They can get you through every single transaction. But if you're not willing to just do the work, you'll never be successful. So, excuses, are like belly buttons. Everybody has one.
That's kind of not how it goes.
That's not how it goes, but I'm trying to be PC here, man. But yeah, there is no formula. There is no magic bullet. Like,
yeah.
Just do the work.
So when you say that, what I like is when we bring somebody on the team, one of the things I ask them is, are you self-motivated? Can you hold yourself accountable? And a lot of it is like what you're saying. Holding yourself accountable isn't necessarily being able to be on point every single time, being like ready to roll in the office every single time. But sometimes being self-accountable is knowing that, okay, I did suck today or this week or, this, half of the day, and I have to become better. I have to learn. Like, that's, I guess, the accountability that we look for that sometimes people don't have, because they love to point the fingers.
Absolutely.
Like, we didn't get this done, and you've never pointed the finger of when
Kind of
things
the culture
have dropped.
now, right? Victim mentality.
Right.
Yeah, you've always been like, okay, no, that makes sense. All right, what can I control?
Yeah.
What can I do? And when you say that it's up to you, kind of along the things of shit my dad says, I remember being little and would drive to school, and he'd be like, he got me always to like it wasn't really a chant, it was more like a cheer, and we'd say, if it was to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And we'd like, I try to get my kids to do it, and they're just like, yeah. Nah.
I can see little Morgan running around.
Yeah.
Dude, for sure. That's how it was. And I swear I was like 14 years old in the car doing it.
It was last
I can't even get my 10-year-old to do it. But that is a really cool trait, and I can tell that that's something that's definitely pushed you and lifted you through, is just that self-accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Things happen. Like, real estate is an animal. It's moving, it's changing. There's a lot of stuff that you cannot control. You are only on one side of the transaction, and you can only control yourself.
Right.
Balls get dropped. Things slide through. You make mistakes. It happens. You're a human being. But if you don't learn from that and take accountability, like, oh crap, I totally missed that one, or I dropped that ball, or what did I do wrong here? You're going to do it again.
Right.
And you're never going to learn from it. And it's going to be frustrating, and you're going to feel like someone is, after you, or somebody's done you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But really, you're only hurting yourself. You're doing yourself wrong. Yeah. So, crap happens.
How do you bounce back from something like that in real estate? So there's agents we see on a regular basis that like what you're saying, there's more things that go wrong, such as life, that go right?
Right.
I guess that's a total mindset and the perspective of what you see. But in real estate, that's what it appears, and that's what it feels like, and that's what's noticed is all the things that you feel let down. How do you rebound from that, or how do you come back from that?
Honestly, I do struggle with that. When I have something that goes south or something I've missed, I do internalize it quite a bit. I stress out about it. I care a lot about it. And it has affected me in the past, where I hold on to it for longer than I should. Right. But more as something to propel me forward. To learn from, not just to be like, oh crap, well, things happen, and just kind of slide it over. I definitely hold on to it longer than is probably healthy for most people.
Sure.
But I try to think of it in a positive way. Like, I'm holding on to it because I never want this to happen again.
You're motivating change, right?
Yeah. Should I let it go? Is this giving me a tiny little ulcer? Probably. But, it is what it is. So bouncing back and letting things go, I'm not great at. But I'm also an adult. Like, I have to move forward.
Right.
I can't just stay in this. I can bring it with me and learn from it, and, stew on it a little bit here and there. But I don't have the luxury to just sit there and pout. I have, a family at home that I need to help, support. And I have, people relying on me. I have clients relying on me to do the best that I can for them. So it's just about, pulling up my big girl panties and moving forward.
Awesome. I love that. So we know how great you are because we've been working. How long have you been on the team?
It'll be 4 years this October.
Wow. Coming up on 4 years.
I know.
That's awesome.
I think it's going to be a big party.
I think there needs to be, right?
I think it's going to be a taco truck and a bounce house.
Bounce house. Okay.
But the slip and slide kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll work on that.
Yes.
So obviously we know so many great traits. Some of the things that I can attribute your success to is, one, how personable you are, one, how much you care about your clients, and your work ethic. I don't know how many times I was here in the evening and you'd be upstairs making your calls, after hours, those kind of things, making sure things got done. And so I know kind of my perception of this, but what would you say has set you apart? I mean, you're in the top, probably 2-3% of all agents, right? So to get to that point, you're obviously doing a lot of things right, but what would you pinpoint? Is there one or two items that you would pinpoint that has set you apart from other people?
I would say that I treat this as a 9-to-5 job with extra hours in the evening. I would like to be in the office from 9 to 5. That was a non-negotiable for me. We have morning meeting at 9. I rarely missed one unless I had showings or other business related things. Obviously, if my kids had things going on, that always takes precedence in my life. But I treated it as such. A lot of agents will be here in the morning, or any place. They would, the place I was at before, show up at 9, do the morning meeting, and then by right after lunch, they'd be gone for the day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they had going on. Maybe they were out showings. Maybe they were just hitting a few golf balls, which is awesome. I'm not going to judge that either. Everybody needs a break, but I treated it very much so as a 9-to-5 job. Office hours were 9 to 5. If I needed to show out houses after that, absolutely. If somebody called me at 9:00 at night, I was available. To a point, I had to learn boundaries and had to set those up. And that's something everybody has to learn.
Especially in this business.
Yeah.
For sure.
I allowed myself to not have boundaries for a little while, and that was havoc. But I treated it like it was a business, as it is. It's my own business, and my business is attached to your business. And on top of that, I I made a promise to you guys when I joined the team. Like, you guys supported me, I need to support you. And if I was not living up to the expectations that I felt like I should have, then how can I expect you guys to live up to the expectations that I had for you guys? So it was like mutual respect. I have wild amount of respect for you guys. I've never worked in a place like this before. I've never felt as valued in a job before as I do here. So I needed to treat it as such.
I would add that you, there's never question. I mean, you were always in the office. You were ready to go for team meetings. You were, like Jason said, you were here if you didn't have something going on. When you were out of the office, we believed that you were doing something productive. And not productive like just showings, but maybe it was something that you needed to do with your family, but it's productive. You know, it wasn't just going home to take a nap, or it wasn't a 4-hour lunch, or it wasn't, those things. And so that's one thing that, that work ethic and that we appreciate, as team leads or team owners or whatever, is that we never did have to question that and you can see that that's what sets you apart from the other 98% of agents or whatever that statistic would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, real estate's not, it's not rocket science. It's not anything difficult or technical, but it's simple, but not easy, right? So
Absolutely.
It's a simple path to success, but it's not easy. You've got to do the work. And that's what's so awesome is we never had any questions from day one. You came in like hitting the ground running, just wanting to work, wanting to do what's right, wanting to learn, wanting to grow, which was awesome. And the thing that I think set you apart in my mind too is you'd have something come up, you'd ask about it, we'd talk about it, we'd walk through it. Sometimes I didn't have the answers. Sometimes we went to Morgan, or sometimes somebody else had an answer, but we figured it out. And you learn from it, and you didn't necessarily have to ask that question over and over and over and over.
Right.
Whereas I think some people just get the answer for the moment and then just move on, and they don't really think it through and learn from it. Whereas I think that really sets you apart, where you're learning every day, which just made you a much better agent. You're able to take care of your clients better. They feel that as well. And so it just helped all over the whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there is ever two real estate deals are exactly the same. Every single deal is something, and there's always something to learn from every single deal, whether you want to or not. And sometimes, you just go through the motions and you get through the deal and you never take anything with you. But then you're going to have to go through that motion again. And that sucks.
It's true. Yep. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have. I mean, there's some things that I've had to learn a few times. I'm a little bit of a slow learner. I'm getting up there in age, but more than twice, then I'm a dummy. That's on me.
Yeah.
After I was talking to Jason, and he was talking about his experience, and he's like, I didn't do anything special. I just went in and put my head down and worked hard, and it made me also think of you, because that's the same thing. And sometimes when we say that, I never want it to ever hurt somebody's feelings because that is actually special. There's not a lot of people who come in and put their head down and actually work hard.
We're realizing that's,
or they feel like they're doing it, but like how much are you doing it?
And so that's kind of, I feel like also one of those, to plug into the podcast, but the success blueprints is somebody who knows that it's not just the little things, or it's the little things that matter. And so you say that, and you say that, like, I didn't do anything special. I just did this and this and this. And that's part of like the champion mindset is you don't celebrate all these little things, but really everything that you do is special, is awesome. And that's where, like, if more people learned, like, oh, I can be consistent. And if I'm in the office, and if I just make phone calls, and if I show up on time, and if I'm reliable, and I'm, these things that really you can control, right?
Right.
You can't control the market, like you said, but you can control the things that you can control. And that's what makes you a special agent and a great agent. And if more agents could learn that, like I can't just go grab 5 listings. However, if I sit and listen and learn and figure it out, and if I pay attention, and if I go to the office, like everybody wants to sit at home on their couch, the laptop on their lap and, you know, in front of the fireplace. But it's proven to be not as productive as
Absolutely
sitting in
not,
the
yeah.
office in our amazing office chairs that we have with the Italian leather and the expensive cabinets and the wood that we have in everybody's office. I mean, it's
So fancy.
it's
Luxury. That's what I think of when I think of our office.
it's just it's easier to stay at home, but it's doing the things you don't want to do but need to be done.
Absolutely. Home is a great place, but here's the thing about my house. All my stuff is there. And my stuff is cool. And the TV's there and all my snacks are there.
Like a kid cleaning their room.
Oh, absolutely. My house is so clean when I'm working from home. It's crazy. Because if something hard comes up, I'm like, I should clean the toilets instead. Because honestly, cleaning the toilets is sometimes easier.
For sure.
It's true.
But if you are in the position where you are working from an office, you should be at that office. Even if you have not a lot going on, there is so much you can glean from just being present. Just like talking through hard deals that other people have. I love when other agents come to me for questions and need my help. Like, I thoroughly enjoy helping other agents. It's my favorite part of the job,
Right.
is when they are working through something and I can sit down and we can kind of work it through it together.
But you learn more because you're teaching.
Yeah, I learn so
Yep.
much more. And then I get something like, hey, this is how I would do it. And they're like saying, oh, well, I was thinking this, and we can kind of combine them and come up with a better idea, something that I would have never thought of or they wouldn't have thought of, but together we kind of work through something else. So, you know, even if you don't have a lot of deals going, or you don't have a lot of phone calls to make, or there's somewhere else you'd rather be, this is your job. Treat it as such, and go to the office and learn from people and talk to people and sit down with your TC and have her show you all the things that she's doing. And, it's just one of those things. Be there, be present, or else you are going to get paid as a part-time employee because you are essentially working part-time.
It's true.
And don't complain about it. Like, this is what you're doing. This is the choice that you're making.
I would say that's a common denominator. There's probably a lot of similarities with the successful people that we've seen on our team, but that's one common thing that I have seen is the ones that have gotten the most and sold the most are ones that are in the office the most.
Absolutely.
And there's definitely correlation there. And sometimes you might feel like you're just spinning your wheels in the office. Nothing really happened today, but then you're here one day when something happens that it's like, wow, kind of an epiphany of like pushing you forward, right?
Yeah.
Or somebody comes in and you happen to be the office and to help them out.
Absolutely.
Or there's a lot of opportunity if you're just in the office.
I can't tell you how many times someone has walked in at 4:45 and
Yeah.
I was the only agent here.
Yep.
And, stay until 5. I got me a deal.
It's true.
So,
There's been a lot of
yeah.
times when people have called and it's like, who's in the office that can take this?
Yeah.
And you're
Who's
the only
available?
one in the office, and you walk in and
Crickets.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you want to make more money? You want more deals? Go to the office. There's a lot to learn there.
Awesome.
Plus, we're pretty fun.
We are pretty fun.
What's the funnest thing you've done?
In real estate?
Yeah, real estate or on our team or
I would say our trips to Costa Rica are my favorite. Those were the funnest. We still talk about business. We still do business stuff. We still, to a point.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that you guys force me to stop. Like, I still work there.
Yeah.
I still bring my laptop. I still get things done. But but I have so much fun when we do that. It's just we're still us, but we're us in a way better location.
Absolutely.
So I love
And
that.
I think it's just a time you see people from a different light.
Yeah.
And with, significant others or spouses there and things like that, it's different.
It is different. It's nice to see you guys with your spouses and how you guys interact. And it's good to see. I see the respect you guys have for your wives. And I love that. And it makes me respect you even more. Like, I know a lot of really successful business people who kill it at the office and they go home and they are awful. And, great. I respect you as a business person, but I don't respect you as a person.
Yeah.
But seeing you guys with your families or with your wives, I have mad respect for that. So it does. I feel like it just solidifies our relationship. Like, not only are we like working together in business, but I think we've really become really, really good friends.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier in a different, different podcast, we talked about success isn't just a paycheck, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, success is everything. It's your family, it's relationships, it's whatever that might be, spiritual, physical, everything about it. Right? It's all across all boards. It's not just one thing.
Absolutely.
So.
And yeah, I definitely look at you guys as that, like being very well-rounded in your success. You both have very successful families, very successful marriages, very successful businesses. So, it's something to look up to. And, obviously another reason I think our team is...
I'll pay you later.
Thank you. But really, it does set our team apart a little bit more, is that you are successful in all those realms, and you're successful in nurturing relationships, and not just because you're out to get something for yourself. Like, you genuinely want that connection. It's more of a relationship based rather than a transaction based.
Love it.
Love that. Awesome. Well, I think we'll wrap it up, but thank you, Jamie. Appreciate you coming in, and appreciate you being here. And obviously just not only being a great friend, I really appreciate that, but being an example to those on the team and everything else. It's just been just a pleasure all along. So I appreciate you.
Well,
And
back at you guys. I mean,
we've chatted, and I really appreciate the same thing, just being a good friend, but just, we've had a lot of great talks, and only half of them have been about business, and
I think you're probably stretching that just a smidge, but
but I think, just thanks for your hard work, and just really just being reliable, just being a reliable friend, and being a reliable person at work, and it just makes life easier when you have reliable friends. So thank you.
Well, absolutely. Yep. You guys make it easy. So thank you.